Welcome back to MFO, everybody. I'm Mark Fisher.
I'm Megan Fuller.
So today, Megan, I think we've got a video that you're probably gonna stay most of the way out of, huh?
Yep, not my kind of video.
Not your kind of video, and I understand. We're gonna be talking about field dressing a deer, guys. And gun season was last weekend. We were lucky enough to get a couple deer, and we wanted to shoot a how-to video about how to field dress a deer. This was also Dylan Henneman was one of the guys who shot one, and I did also. So we kind of put Dylan in charge of the field dressing, and we were gonna it was the first time that he had done that, and we were gonna kind of walk him through it. Well, what happened was that first one kind of got messed up. There were some mistakes made,
Okay.
and so we're gonna show that to you. We're gonna show both of these to you. This is truly going to be a do's and don'ts of how to field dress a deer. You will also notice that the second one, he does a much better job, and we kind of point that out. And so this gives us the opportunity for you to see the real do's and don'ts in field dressing a deer. So stick around, and when we come back, we'll be in the woods with Dylan, and we'll get into field dressing these deer.
Good luck, Dylan.
All right, well, we got a couple deer to field dress tonight, huh?
Yes, sir.
And Dr. Dylan is getting prepared for these operations.
Hey, don't forget Nurse Dave.
All right, Nurse Dave, right? in the prep.
What, like right here, right?
You can go further back.
All right, so talk us through this. Dylan's gonna do the work, and Dave, you talk us through it. What's happening?
Dylan's going to open up the deer here, cut it so he can get into the, open up the chest cavity and pull out all the vital organs, get them out of the insides. If he wasn't so dainty. So he's cutting it back, making sure he doesn't cut the stomach.
Right. This is the one thing that he's making sure not to cut.
No intestines. Oh, got him a little bit. Take it easy.
Yeah.
Lift that up, bud.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's.
Yeah, I mean,
This is not a video. of
separate
what
the
you wanna
legs
do.
and right.
This is what you don't want to do.
Pull up on that skin, man.
Yeah, take that skin,
Get
pull
it
up.
up high. There you
and
go.
then-
Now cut.
right,
And
and then-
don't jab at it. Just keep it down there.
Right.
There. Keep it. Spread those legs a little bit. Keep cutting there. Cut around that tallywhacker.
Now what?
Cut the ribs. Right down the middle. Get right in the middle.
You're good there. You gotta be able to reach your hand up in there and get
Right.
the esophagus.
Now go with the other knife. Reach way the hell up in there. Keep going. Grab with one and then watch your hand. Get that sucker and pull on it.
One thing about doing this, you definitely know when you have the esophagus. It feels like that.
Yeah, it,
You know that.
like the intestine, ropey,
Yeah.
round, ropey thing that's squishy.
Take your time. Up on the way out, so don't go too far.
Yep.
Told you.
Just pull and grab the other knife. Cut cut it a little bit as you go. But keep pulling. Otherwise you're gonna cut into more stuff you don't want in there, like that. You're not a butcher.
Man,
Never said
this was supposed to be a how-to video, Dylan, not a how not to.
There you go. Eat them muscles. There you go. There you do it.
So guys, you can see that there were some mistakes made in that first deer, and before you guys send a bunch of comments like, hey man, that's not the way to do it, we know. And so we've kind of looked at those. We're gonna talk about those mistakes as we get into this second deer, and we're gonna show you the right way to field dress a deer coming up with this second deer. Two things that I'm gonna show you different than your dad did. Okay, so number one, I want you to go to the anus and I want you to cut around that. I'll hold this leg first. Yep, that's the very first thing you're gonna do is just go around the anus.
How far in you want me to go?
As far as you can get your knife. Okay. All right, now when you come up to here, you're gonna pinch that and your blade is gonna be facing, the blade part is gonna be coming up.
Towards the head.
Towards
Up to
the
towards
sky.
barn.
Okay.
You want me to cut towards the ribs?
So you're gonna go in right where the sternum is, and you're gonna pull this up, and you're gonna and at first you're just gonna come up to you're not gonna risk puncturing the stomach if you go this way first. You're not gonna go very far, just about that far.
Okay.
But you're gonna get your opening, your first incision, and the sharp part of the blade. I know the sharp part of the blade is towards the sky.
Not all the way in.
Right, just
just ever
okay. So now that gives you a place to get your finger.
Yep.
Now you got your finger and you're pulling up, and now you're gonna turn your blade
Downwards.
Yep.
Wait, no. Can you hold it? Now your blade is gonna come. Wait, stop the video here, guys. This is what I'm trying to show Dylan. See the hair on that blade? Anytime the blade part of your knife is facing down, you're cutting hairs, and all of those hairs get into the meat when you put the blade of your knife facing into the deer. You should always have the sharp part of your knife facing up. You'll see me point this out to Dylan. He's got the blade facing down. You want it to point upwards towards the sky.
Like you had.
This way. And you're gonna open up the skin going this way.
Then it's like a zipper.
And as you
No, but you're not understanding the
right.
angle.
This
Not the
this
go
way.
like
the
that.
handle needs to be
Okay.
towards
The handle is towards the head,
Okay.
and you're cutting and lifting
Got it.
as you go.
Yep.
Okay.
Got it.
Keep your finger out of the way.
And you're just zipping. It's a zipper basically.
Nice and gentle, because you want to. Your goal here is to get all the way down to there without, nice and easy, and slide your finger down so that you're closer to where you're cutting. Yep. Nope.
I need to cut that though.
You
gotta keep the angle of the knife. That's a fucking bone.
Yeah. Right.
It's bone.
But this is skin, and this is where you want to be. You want to be lifting this up and sliding the edge of your knife that direction. Yep. Nice and easy. Small little cuts.
There you go.
Okay, so I want to interject one more time here. We're talking about knife work, and Dylan was positioning the knife correctly after I taught him. So he's got the blade, the sharp part facing up, and he's working in the deer, but he was kind of holding it like this and kind of working it this way. And really what I'm looking at is I would be holding the knife like this, so that as I was going into the deer, I would literally be grabbing the knife and working it this way. I don't know if you can kind of see that, but
That has to be something that takes some practice, though,
it's
because that's an awkward position.
it isn't. Well, it's a butcher's position actually. That's where I learned it. My dad had done butchering, and so he showed me that you actually do it this way, and then you work it over this way, but it keeps the blade facing up, and you're just under the skin as you're taking that way. So that's the first thing, instead of holding it kind of like this, just being able to grab it like that and working it this direction.
Okay.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is that when you're working inside the cavity of the deer, you heard Dave talking about being careful because you're inside the cavity and you got that sharp blade and you got hands in there. What I typically tend to do, again, another butcher move, is I tend to just take my finger and put it on the safe side of the blade, right at the tip. And so now when I'm in the cavity, I know where my blade is because it's right at the tip of my finger. I'm on the safe side, but the things I'm cutting, I'm literally pointing at and cutting because my blade, the sharp part, is right there.
Right.
And so I can keep my hands away from my finger as opposed to a blade where I have no idea where it is when I'm inside of that.
Okay.
So if I just hold that like that and I'm cutting, I got it. And then finally, the last thing, just again, my hunting knives that I use to field dress deer are all fixed. This is just a kitchen knife, but they're all fixed blade knives. Dylan was using a folding knife, and to me, when you use a folding knife, all of those guts, the fat, they get inside the recessed part of a folding knife. And so using a fixed blade knife, you now have a knife that you can take in and just wash it down, and you're not dealing with nooks and crannies. Let's get back and watch Dylan finish off this deer.
Just keep the knife in that skin, dude.
Right.
Don't worry about that fat.
Keep pulling that skin way up, as high up as you
Keep
can.
pulling as you go. You can hold there and keep pulling it. You don't have to move your hand down
There
every
you
time.
go. Like that.
Just further up though. Pull.
Pull that skin way up high.
And you're just barely getting the knife in there. Angle of the knife.
Okay. Now what I would suggest is you take your saw and open up that.
I got it. Two hands on the saw. You don't have to hold the wrist.
There you go.
Keep going. Keep going.
All the way up. There.
Good.
Now you're good.
Now you can
Further
get
to
in
go,
there
the
with
more
your-
you can get
right.
in there to get that esophagus.
I got it, Mark.
Looking. And we're gonna grab the heart from this one and the other one so I can bring it to school so the kids can dissect hearts on Monday morning.
There you go.
Nice.
For a second. You might have to cut around the
That's it.
I
You
didn't
should,
cut
yep,
the dick
you
off.
should be able to.
You can keep pulling. No,
Pull.
you're doing fine.
Yeah.
You know, normally, there you
There
go.
you go.
Now be careful where you walk because the heart's right behind you that Mark wants to keep.
Okay.
But see how that can't, because you cut from the anus, you were able to pull.
Still got to
Yeah.
cut that out.
Yeah,
Still got to
right.
open it up back to the.
Right.
Just like
There you
did
go.
yours.
But you were able to. You're right.
Just like that.
That puts you. Look at
All
that.
the way down.
Nice. Nice.
What you think?
Good job.
Yeah, you got see that right there?
Just that?
Yep. There you go. Nice job.
So
Much easier.
then, Dylan, if you do a buck, you don't saw the rib cage at all.
Right.
You leave it and you just stick your arm up there.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to ruin it.
Because you want the cape, right?
Yeah.
Well, guys, I hope the contrast between the first deer and the second deer was helpful. A lot of do's and don'ts, really. A lot of the things that we did in that first deer are the don't do, and then you kind of saw how much easier it was on the second deer and how easy that whole the guts and the intestines and everything came out on the second deer. We hope you liked the video. Hope that you found that it was interesting. Again, if you haven't, guys, please subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
We'd appreciate that. And we will see you again next week on Mark Fisher Outdoors.
Stay channeled.